Hello everyone, my name is Christian Susanibar and my partner's name is James Young. For our final project of DT-128 Spring Quarter of 2016, we have chosen to talk about building a deck in accordance with the International Building Code 2012. We will try to show how the IRC 2012 could become a helpful tool and an ally in achieving the task of building a long-lasting and secure deck. First, I am going to start talking about the terminology that goes along with building a deck. This will be very helpful and important to know in order to easily locate the topics in the International Residential Code. I would like to point out that most of our reference here will be based on the IRC 2012, so please be aware that some changes have been made in the current IRC 2015 that apply to building a deck. We will try to point out some of them, but it is important to always be aware of the latest updated version of the code. In this first PowerPoint slide, we have a picture that describes graphically all the components of a deck and their specific terminology. We see that there are 16 elements that take place in a well-constructed deck. As you start building a deck, it will be very helpful to be familiar with the terminology of each element. For example, one important element of building a deck, and perhaps easy to bypass because of its size, is element number 8, the post base connector. Reference 370.1 of the 2012 International Residential Code indicates the protection of wood and wood-based products shall be provided in these locations to prevent decay of wood. Also, in reference 317.4 of the 2012 International Residential Code, mentions that wood or plastic composites used for exterior deck boards or handrails should have a label that indicates the required performance level and demonstrate that it's in compliance with the provisions of the ASTM, which stands for American Society of Testing Materials. In order to build a deck that is in complete compliance with the International Residential Code, there are lots of aspects to take in consideration. Because of the length of this video, we will not be able to cover all of them, but we will talk about a few that we believe are important topics to be aware of when building a deck. I will briefly talk about picking the right material for the job. According to the American Wood Council, all lumber and glued laminated timber that will be used for building a deck shall be from naturally durable species such as redwood or western cedars, or be preservative treated with an approved process in accordance with the American Wood Protection Association standards. This information could be found in the 2012 International Residential Code, reference 317 and 318. We can also find information in reference 317.3.1 through 317.3.4. The information found here is directly related to the screws, bolts, washer, nuts, and nails to be used when building a deck. The last topic that I will briefly touch on is the live load recommendation for decks. According to the International Residential Code 2012, reference 507.2, the minimum load design for decks must be 50 pounds, with 40 pounds of live load and 10 pounds of dead load. However, according to the class teacher, this has been changed in the International Residential Code 2015, being now 60 pounds, the total design load of a deck. At the time of this project, we did not have access to the 2015 International Residential Code, and the information was not corroborated. But this is an example of how some changes you must be aware of. With this, I conclude my part of the presentation. I will leave my partner James Young, and he will continue to provide us with helpful information about building a deck according to the International Residential Code.
Fasteners and connectors. Fasteners, connectors, also known as hangers, nails, etc., must be stainless steel, hot dip galvanized, or as specifically required for the specified wood preservatives used. The coating weights for zinc-coated fasteners are to be in coordinates with ASTM 153. Provide documentation in the field showing the required fastener protection considering the wood chosen for your deck. Some inspectors may require proof that your product will work in the field. Fasteners and connectors shall be of the same corrosion-resistant metal. Mixing and matching two different kinds of metal may accelerate the corrosion speed. Use the correct size joint hanger with the joint size that it is designed for to maintain vertical capacity. Guardrail requirements. All decks greater than 30-inch above grade are required to have a guardrail. This prevents people from falling off the deck and injuring themselves. IRC Section 312.1. Guardrails must be a minimum of 36 inches above the deck. IRC 312.1.2. Openings inside and below the guardrails shall not allow the passage of a 4-inch diameter sphere, or 312.1.2. However, there are two exceptions. One, a triangular opening at the open side of the stair formed by the riser tread and bottom rail of a guard shall not allow the passage of a sphere 6 inches in diameter. Guards on the open side of stairs shall not have opening which allow the passage of a sphere of 4 3/8 of an inch in diameter. Guardrail posts. Once again, guardrails are required when the deck is more than 30 inches above grade. Handrails and guards shall also be designed to resist a concentrated load of 200 pounds per the IBC 1607.8. A minimum of a 4x4 post with no notching should be placed along the deck every 6 inches on center with 2 5/8 through bolts and washers. Note the drawing below. The used shows the details for the guard connections and provide engineered design that shows that the guard can resist a single concentrated load of 200 pounds applied in any direction at any point along the top, and have attachment devices and supporting structure to transfer this load to the appropriate structural elements of the building per the IBC Section 1607.8. Ledger attachments for lateral loads. This is the most critical part of the deck project. Not only does the ledger board hold up the vertical weight of the deck and all the people on it, but it also prevents the deck from detaching from the home and falling into the backyard. We're supported by attachment to an exterior wall. Deck deck shall be positively anchored to the primary structure and designed for both vertical and lateral loads, R 507.1. Hold-down tension devices shall be installed in not less than 2 locations per deck, and each device shall have an allowable stress design capacity of not less than 1,500 pounds, R 507.2.3. This is required for all new constructions. Approved corrosion-resistant flashing shall be applied shingle fashion in a manner to prevent entry of water into the wall cavity or penetration of water into the building structural framing components, IRC R 703.8. Posting. All post attachments between the post and the beam must have a hanger per manufactured specifications. All foundation posts must be 1 inch above grade. This allows for adequate ventilation and prolongs the life of the wood.
And with this, my partner and I come to the conclusion of our presentation. We hope that we have provided you with helpful information that you might one day use to build a strong and long-lasting deck. We thank you for your time.